question 25, basically you have like a subset B of integers 1 through 100, and it has the property, and you want like to take a subset of the numbers from 1 through 100 so that no two of the elements have a sum of 125. You want to know what is the maximum possible number of elements in this subset. So this seems like a pretty like abstract problem, kind of. It's like more like it's kind of like a counting problem. You want to like optimize. So like if you have like some set of numbers, like maybe you have like 1, 5, 9, 30, like 50, 100, or something like this. You want a subset of the numbers from 1 to 100. And you want to make sure that all the numbers that you include in this set here, no two of those numbers have a sum of 125. So for example, this set works because no two of the numbers like 1, 5, 9, 30, 50, 100, no two of those numbers have a sum of 125. So this is a valid set. But the question wants us to find like, what is the largest possible set that we can like make with these rules, right? Because clearly we can do better. In this case, we have 6 elements. So 6 elements in this set, but we want to like, clearly we can do better than 6, right? Like we can do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or something. This includes 7 elements. And clearly this also has the property that no two of the elements have a sum of 125, which also satisfies the conditions. But we want to find what is the maximum possible number of elements we can put into the set in order to satisfy the condition that no two of the elements have a sum of 125. So the idea for this question is kind of like, you can notice that like 125, you want to write 125 as a sum of 2 elements. So we notice that like 125, you can write as like 1 plus 124. It can also be written as like 2 plus 123. And continue this pattern, it goes up to like 24 plus 101, right? But notice that like these numbers on the left here from 1 through 24, remember that like the numbers in our set have to be less than or equal to 100, right? The original question says the subset has to be chosen from the numbers from 1 through 100. So the numbers can't exceed 100. But notice that like the numbers in the red, like in this red circled area here, the corresponding numbers that they pair with, like 1 pairs with 124, 2 pairs with 123, and so on, 24 pairs with 101, and so on. Like these blue circle numbers are not in the range. So like that tells us that we can like, in our subset that we construct, we can always put the numbers from 1 all the way up to 24 into our set without like, we can just put those in for free. Like we don't have to like worry about like it being matched with a partner to being summed to 125, because these numbers from 101 to 124, they're not even in the range, so it's not possible for any of the numbers from 1 through 24 to be paired with another number to have a sum of 125. But like we have to be careful when we like go on to like the next pair, which is 25 plus 100, because now both of these numbers, like 25 and 100, they're both in the range from 1 to 100. And you can continue this like 26 plus 99, 27 plus 98, and so on, until like the closest pair you can get is 62 plus 63. So notice that like the reason like these like pairs are different, these like green circle pairs are different, is because both numbers in the pairs are in the range from 1 to 100, which means you can't just like which means there are now some restrictions, right? Because we have the numbers 1 through 24 in the set, but the thing is like if we decide to include the number 25, if we decide to add 25 to our set, then that tells us that we can't include 100, because if we included 25 and 100, then then clearly these two sum to 125, which is bad. So that tells us out of the two numbers, out of 25 and 100, you can only pick one number to put into the set. And similarly, if you have like 26 and 99, you can only put exactly one of those numbers in the set. You can't put both, because if you put 26 and 99, then those two would sum to 125, which is bad. So with the pair 26 and 99, you can put only one number into the set. So suppose you put like 99. If we put 99 into the set, that means we cannot put 26 into the set. And we can continue this pattern. And notice that from 25, so notice that in this like green circled pairs, there are exactly 38 of these pairs. You can count from like 25 to 62. There are 38 of these like pairs, but from each of those 38 pairs, you can choose a maximum of 1 to put in your set, because you can't like put 2 in one set. Like you can't put 25 and 100 in one set, in the same set. Like you have to choose at most 1 of them. So the best you can do is choose 38 different numbers from the 38 pairs. But we already have like the 24. We already have the 24, the numbers from 1 through 24. We can just put those in the set for free, because we don't have to worry about their partner since they're not in the range. So the maximum, the best we can do is going to be 24 plus 38, which is going to be like 62. And like that would be the answer, which is like choice C. So just to summarize this question, basically we saw 125, we wrote it as the sum of 2 numbers. We saw we could write it as 1 plus 124, 2 plus 123, and so on until 24 plus 101. And notice that like the numbers encircled in red on the left side here, like we can just automatically put those numbers in a set. The numbers from 1 through 24, they can go in the set for free without like any cost or anything, because the numbers that they pair with, which is 124 all the way to 101, those are not in the range from 1 to 100. So we don't have to like worry about, we don't have to worry about that. And then, but then we also have the pairs like 25 plus 100, 26 plus 99, and so on. We have 38 of these pairs. And the reason these pairs are slightly more tricky is because for each of these pairs, we can only include at most 1 of these numbers, right? Like with 25 and 100, you can either include 25 or you can include 100, but not both. So since you have 38 of these pairs, the maximum, the best you can do is to choose 1 from each pair. So you get 38 more numbers. So 38 plus 24 would give you like 62. Yeah, and this is a very like common kind of question. Like optimizing, like a lot of times, this is a very common kind of question where you have like some numbers and they say, oh, suppose you want to choose as big of a subset of these numbers as possible that satisfies some condition. Like in this case, the condition was no 2 elements sum to 125. And a lot of times you have to like think of like, how can you optimize it? And this trick of like grouping things together is often like a pretty powerful strategy.